I am back today with an overview video of a hybrid rifle, an AR-15 that takes AK-47 mags made by Wolfpack Armory. Now, if you follow the channel, you'll know I go out to the IV88 YouTube shoot every year, and I discovered Wolfpack Armory at this event. I got to shoot a few of the different platforms they had available, and I was really impressed at the machining, the quality, and overall fit and finish of everything they brought to the show, as well as just the guys who own it in general. Solid people, good values, and I really liked the products they were producing. Fast forward a few months and they sent one of their premium rifles out to the channel for us to try out. This is the WP47 Elite rifle with the side charging upper assembly chambered in 7.62x39. Again, an AR that takes AK mags. This is more of a brand overview though, and hopefully we'll be working more with these guys in the future. If you're curious about their setups and their platforms, we're going to dig into this particular version, as well as kind of take some data away from this and my shooting experience at the IV88 YouTube event to talk about some of the other offerings they have as well. Also, I have the code 704TACTICAL for 5% off your Wolfpack Armory order. And they sent this out specifically for my viewers to save yourself some money, and this code is valid site-wide. This is also one of the only companies that I've seen that has an extensive parts list available on their website if you wanted to grab just the stripped AR-47 lower that has that magwell for the AK-47 magazines, or a 7.62x39 bolt carrier group that has the cutout to run with the AK mags. So all of that information can be found on their website, but unfortunately because of YouTube's policies, I can't link to any of that in the description below, but they are not hard to find. I also want to give a huge shout out to AIM Surplus for selling me a lot of the Wolf ammo at cost to help make this video. I work with these guys a lot as well, and they've always got some interesting stuff. Now we are looking at the 5.45x39, which seems to be a little bit more rare nowadays. They also have this available as well, but we ran exclusively the 7.62x39 Wolf, as well as some Tala in this gun from AIM Surplus, so definitely check those guys out. Let's take a look at this rifle, then we'll talk about the company in general, as well as some of the other offerings they have. And in a nutshell, this is a traditional AR-15 for the most part, other than the fact that it takes AK-47 magazines and they rock into this magwell. We'll start at the front and work our way to the back. Now, the premium rifle features a lot of different add-on features over the base model rifle, but the base model rifle is going to be just as reliable and pretty much just as functional with the updates that you can do to the trigger and everything else like that. But when you're talking about the premium rifle, what you can't really update is going to be that upper receiver. This is a side charging upper receiver, and it works out incredibly well. It's very smooth and functional down at the range, but their base model rifle has the rear charging. A lot of more traditionalist AR-40 or AR-15 guys are going to be really looking at, in my opinion, that rear charging, but I wanted to try their side charging premium rifle to get a good feel for kind of that top tier and extrapolate some of that data down to their base model rifles. And I think either way you go, depending on what type of charging configuration you want, you are not going to be disappointed. Again, everything I shot at the show worked out great. But again, starting at the front and working our way to the back, right off the bat, they have a really cool birdcage flash hider sitting on the end of this guy, and it's going to be their HTS flash hider. Now, the bolt carrier group on this we'll talk about more in a minute because it's more specialized, but let's talk about the barrel interface and the barrel and the rail system because they do a very good job with that. Now, the barrel itself is a 16-inch 7.62x39 4150 chromoly barrel. It's got a carbine length gas system and a 1 in 10 twist rate. Now, they've got this thing gassed correctly for the 7.62x39 ammo, and it works out great when it comes to reliability, but we'll also talk a little bit more about reliability in the BCG part of this review just because they kind of go hand in hand. Now, surrounding that barrel is a really nice M-LOK rail system with QD slots at the back, a solid locking system at the bottom that makes everything lock up rock solid, and then it also has anti-rotation tabs built in. So everything you want to see in a premium rail with a full pick rail at the top. Now, I personally like full pick rails at the top of the rifle because I'll put pressure pads with different lighting accessories, especially a lot of the O-lights and Surefire options are going to be mounting from either the side and then run your pressure switches from the top, or some of the O-lights even mount from the top with the pressure pads. So I like that about them. They also offer a wide color configuration. It's available and selectable when you go to add things to your cart. So you may not necessarily see the color you want, but you add the rifle to your cart and then you can select the color you want. So that's a pretty nice feature too, that you can really go through and pick out exactly what color you want everything coated in. Now this particular one is the side charging upper, so we'll talk about that, but the BCG in a nutshell is going to be the same for the premium rifle as well as their base model rifle, and both are going to be running great. Now the side charger is incredibly smooth. There's no sharp edges right here. It works out very nicely and it just locks up solid with that upper receiver. There's not a ton of wobble, there's not a ton of play in it, and it's a very just premium feeling side charging upper assembly. One of the nicer ones I've seen, especially because it doesn't have that hook coming out of the bolt like some other side chargers that reciprocates back and forth. This one keeps everything kind of small and contained, not for a lot of debris to ingress in. It also has a nice chamfer here, so those extracted shells just fly out of there without running into anything. Now you don't get a forward assist or a dust cover, don't seem to need that, but when you're talking about some of the other models that they offer in a wide variety of other calibers, you know, those are going to change. The upper receiver is just very nice. It's machined very intricately. It's got a lot of nice cuts in it, and functionally those don't do much, but for looks it looks pretty mean, it looks pretty good, and it flows really nicely with that rail system. So let's talk about reliability, and this is probably one of the most reliable hybrid rifles in the AR-AK platform that I've shot, with one caveat. It only likes the Magpul PMags. I've tried a few other magazines and it did not like those. Some didn't even fit, but a lot of these hybrid rifles are going to be designed around that gold standard, which is the Magpul PMag. But when I used the Magpul PMags, it was 100% functional with whatever ammo I put through it, and this has seen 3 range trips since I got the rifle, not to mention the rounds I put through other platforms at the IV88 YouTube shoot with no issues whatsoever. I like to reference that because that's probably one of the only events I go to where I get to physically watch people pick up products that are not me, dump thousands of rounds through them all day and see their functionality. Now, obviously, I can't stand there and watch them, but every time I looked at the Wolfpack Armory booth, these rifles were running like sewing machines without any issues, and that was my experience at the range with this one. I didn't have a single failure, the ejection pattern was solid, and it just ran perfectly. Other thing I want to mention about hybrid rifles like this, especially with the match grade triggers that this one comes with, is a lot of times you will get light primer strikes on steel cased ammo. This one did not have that. Whatever they're doing it well, and they know exactly what they're doing because there was no light primer strikes with this rifle. It ran flawlessly, 100% function, no issues whatsoever, again with the Magpul PMags, and that's what it ships with, and that's what I would recommend you use. Talking about the lower assemblies, this is a really awesome option because, again, like we talked about earlier in the video, you can buy these independently, you can buy the BCGs independently, and a lot of other parts independently from their website. This particular rifle comes with the ambidextrous safety, the Magpul K2 grip with the rubberized kind of finish to it. It's got a match 2-stage trigger, which is very nice, and extended paddle right here. So we are going to charge that rifle so I can show you guys the trigger. The trigger has a very smooth take-up. It hits a defined wall, and it has a crisp break. The reset on this guy is also very short, audible, and tactile, followed up by just that bit of a travel right after that reset, because it's a very strong reset, and then you hit that wall and you have a crisp break. When I first felt this trigger, I thought, man, I don't know how they're doing that trigger and getting reliable primer strikes. And it's because this is a premium rifle and they know what they're doing. It just absolutely works. And it blows me away because I'm used to feeling super heavy triggers on hybrid AK-47, AR-15 rifles, because you have to hit those hard primers on steel cased ammo. So these guys know what they're doing with their firing pin lengths, their AR-47 BCGs, and the magwell interface with that mag and the BCG to get it to run reliably. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever with this rifle. So the WP47 Elite rifle, hands down, absolutely worth it. I also think that's going to translate very well into their base model rifle. For the base model rifle, you're going to save about $500 and it's going to be rear charging. And I feel like that is going to be a great hybrid rifle to grab as well. Or if you wanted to shot it, kind of piecing it together yourself, definitely don't forget to check out their parts section because you can grab pretty much whatever you want. Also, that code 704TACTICAL for 5% off your order is going to be valid on everything on their website. Hopefully, we'll be trying some new rifles and new platforms in the future. They just released their WP9, which is their AR9 that doesn't come with the brace. It just comes with that standard tube on the back. And it is going to be on sale for $649. Not sure if my code works, but I would try it. It's worth putting it in for every single thing on their website. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope it gives you an interesting platform that you may not have looked into before, but now would be a great opportunity, and they offer it in so many configurations and so many variations, including that strip lower. Be a really good start to an awesome project. I also want to give a huge shout out to Wolfpack Armory for letting me shoot everything at their booth. They even let me shoot some other interesting things like an AK-74. And thanks for them for sending this over and creating that code specifically for my viewers. Now, this code is an affiliate code, so if you guys decide to use it, it helps you guys out and it helps me out at the exact same time, lets them know you sent them over, helps out the channel as well to just keep producing videos and keep producing content that you guys might want to see. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.